Hello, hello, and hello, and welcome to Rootworkers Round the Table. I'm one of your hosts, Papa O.
And I'm your other host, Sister Sonia, who happens to be very, very tired today.
I am going to tell you this. I think the Sandman was missing last night. I could not get myself to sleep. And I heard you were the same. You couldn't get yourself to sleep. I tried chamomile milk.
Well, it's kind of different.
Oh, tell me, what's going on?
Oh, no, you go ahead and tell me. I'm interested.
Well, mine was restless legs, and I couldn't get to sleep. So I started with chamomile milk and honey. Couldn't work. Then lavender still didn't work. I was banging my head against the wall. And honestly, I've only slept maybe 2 to 3 hours today. You know, sometimes it feels like the Sandman has just gone missing.
Well, mine had to do with Kennedy and Everett. Kennedy has a double ear infection, and Everett has been sick since the wedding. Everett now he's my grandson. He now has RSV and had to go to the emergency room last night. So because he went to the emergency room, Kennedy came to my house. Kennedy is also not well. So she woke up screaming at 2 o'clock in the morning with severe ear pain and now has a double ear infection. So, needless to say, this Nana was up. I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning and I had to work today. So, it wasn't good. Not at all. So, wish them well.
Say a little prayer for them. Now, do you know what my grandmother used to do?
And her mommy, she's sick now too.
Are you serious? Allie's.
Yep.
Robbie's the last man on deck. Will he make it through? You know what my grandmother always used to do? When I had a double earache, she would put 2 cotton balls in both my ears. And she would say, so you don't get the wind in it. When you get the wind in it, that's what causes the earache. So that was something that she always used to do. I told the nurse that once, and she's like, I don't even know what that means.
My mom used to take something called sweet oil and put it on a cotton ball and put it in her ear, wherever they got that. I'm not sure. I know I went and got the Motrin, and Kennedy turned on Nature Sounds, and she was right out after that. But we were camping out in the hospital parking lot because her parents had been told they were getting discharged, and I was sending Kennedy home. That's a long story. Needless to say, 2 hours of sleep for me as well.
You have been in the hospital so long, going back and forth. I think that's your second home.
Second hospital visit in a week. Maybe Everett needs to get better. Speaking of hospitals today, oh my gosh, today. If I hate to talk about our local pavilion, but know your rights as a patient and know that most of the time, the people at the hospital, when you mention patient advocate, they don't want to help you by finding the patient advocate. You generally have to find them yourself. Phone number, advocate. Area of the hospital.
I'm a patient advocate.
Are you a patient advocate? You advocate for yourself.
Always. I'm going to tell you, I had one instance where a nurse in Paducah really tried to hurt me. Like I was cramping on the machine and she would not let anybody help me. She stood in front of it and a nurse and a technician literally had to push her aside. she did not lack my spiritual values. So she felt that, and then I went to go for some training in Los Angeles with the Renal Support Network, and they're the ones who taught me advocacy. And I've used it. I've used it for the good, and I have helped other dialysis patients. In fact, I'm currently helping one right now. Not right now, but in the general now. But
That's good.
most people don't realize that the doctors work for you. Your insurance is paying
We
them.
pay them.
Yeah, your insurance is paying an exorbitant amount of money. They have to be the ones who are like, okay, we hear you, you know? All right, I believe you. Be
Right.
See, you know that I'm getting treated for latent tuberculosis, right?
Yes.
And I started the antibiotic. So Allie's wedding was my last brouhaha, you know, because I can't have cheese, I can't have preserved meat, I can't have. There is a lot of stuff I cannot have. Like my leftovers. If I want to eat them again, I have to freeze them.
Oh, wow.
So that was really weird, and I'm getting used to that. I got I made a special dish today for myself with summer squash and some leeks and a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt. Really had a nice flavor to it. I had it with my hamburger, my lean hamburger with no bread. And you want to know what
Is
is
it INH?
what?
The medication, is it INH?
I can't remember the exact name of it. Um, it begins with an I. Um, but
Isoniazide, maybe?
that's exactly what I think it
We
is.
can look it up later.
I think that's exactly what it is. And because I remember it didn't have a weird at the end, it had a Zide or something. So I was like, that sounds correct. But I am on a low tyramine diet, and the sad thing is, it will be through Mabon, it will be through Samhain, it will be through Christmas, it will be through New Year's. Like, sad, sad for Papa O. Your your daughter's wedding was my last gloriousness with food, and for a while,
Mm,
and I'm hoping that I could shed a few pounds.
right. It's a big change.
Yeah, it was a lot bigger
It's a
change than
big
I thought it would.
lifestyle change.
Even all my snacks that I take to dialysis had to change. Like I literally went out and invested in my change, you know? I made my first smoothie today. I never had a smoothie before. This was my first smoothie.
Really?
Yeah, it was strawberry, blueberry, cherry, and kale. And I
Because
have
you can't have citrus.
no citrus, no citrus. Um, and that's just one of them. You know, they have entire, and one that they put on there that I don't understand is banana peels. How many people do you know who eat banana peels?
I've never heard of anyone eating banana peel.
If anybody knows about people who eat banana peels, please tell me. I know you can turn it into bacon,
Yeah.
but I'm like, that's still. I rather prefer fake and bacon, but I can't have soy. Can't have soy. Can't have MSG. But this too is meant to try us.
You can't have tomato either.
I can have tomatoes.
Tomato's a form of citrus, though. It's a fruit.
It's not in the same citrus family.
Huh. Let's look it
Because
up. I'm gonna
let's
ruin your day, though.
I love that she's looking it up. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
say
the
it on
pharmacy tech in me.
doesn't say it on my
What fruit family
fruit.
does tomato belong to? See, because it's the pharmacy tech in me. I have to. It belongs to it's the same. Oh my God, the nightshade
Yeah,
family. It includes several species of fruits, which are better known as vegetables to most people. And then I just discovered the craziest thing by looking this up. I've never heard of this before. Nipple fruit. Nipple fruit.
I have never
I'm not
had.
lying. Look.
What
You
is
see it?
nipple fruit?
Can you see it? I don't think you can see it. It's called nipple fruit. I've never seen it ever. Let's see. The nightshade family, better known as vegetables to most people. Seed bearing structures, like copiscin something. I don't know. If you've ever eaten a nipple fruit, please tell me because I would love to know what nipple fruit is.
And you'd love to know what it tastes
Maybe
like.
you know how tomato has the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
And you want to know
We're
what it
gonna
tastes like.
have to look up nipple fruit. What does it taste like?
Nipples.
Nipples.
What do nipples taste like?
I've never gnawed on a nipple. Oh God, here we go. Oh my gosh. It looks like a squash, only it looks like it has a nipple on it.
And it's a fruit?
It's a commonly known as nipple fruit, foxhead, cow's udder, or apple of Sodom. It's an inedible Pan American tropical fruit. Well, then why would they mention it if it's inedible? It's the fruit's resemblances to that of a human breast. Ah! While the proximal end looks like a cow's udder. I guess that's why we've not heard of it because it's not edible. But it's in the same category as a tomato. The things you learn while on the podcast with Sonia and Papa O.
And you can have tomato. I just looked. I looked it up.
Okay, good. But boys and girls, we just discovered nipple fruit. You heard it first right here on our podcast. Yes,
Nipple fruit.
nipple fruit. But you can't eat it
Yeah.
since it's not edible.
And it may be high in tyramine. We don't know.
We don't know.
Also, the queen died.
She did. Did you watch the funeral?
Of course. Of course.
You're all into Britain. Me, I was at work, so I missed the funeral.
I watched it on rerun.
I need to. I heard a few people cried. I heard Meghan Markle cried.
I'm going to tell you my mom's opinion. I said to mom, I was so sad. I called my mom up and I said, Mom, the queen has died. And she goes, What did you expect? She's 96 years old, Eddie. I was like,
Truth. Truth.
It's true. But
She almost outlived Betty White, but not quite.
But some way I figured she would live forever. You know?
I don't know. As long as we talk about her, she's going to live forever.
Longest reigning monarch.
Mm-hmm.
But it did.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
You said,
Speaking of the dead and advocacy and the queen and things of not nipple fruit, but people from European descent, I discovered a local legend in our little town of Cave City, Kentucky.
What is it?
Um, Landers Potts Bottom, which is one of our local bars, the original owner, which they say they feel still within the bar, her name was Mary Landers. And this is the interesting part about Mary Landers. Ever since I heard about her, you know, me and my thinking about the dead, I've been thinking about her. So I found her, and she's buried on the corner of Owens and First Street, and she's buried by herself. It's not a cemetery, it's somebody's yard in an above ground tomb. And you know what's engraved on her tombstone?
What?
May Jesus, Joseph, and Mary have mercy on her soul. What did this woman do to be buried by herself? And why is that on her tombstone? And
Uh,
why is she buried above the ground? There's
Yeah,
no
why?
one else in that area. No one, not a single person, not a single tomb, just Mary.
So she's not even buried on sacred ground.
No, in someone's yard on the corner of Owens and First Street. So I went to visit her. I told her that I was thinking about her and that I was there, and Kennedy's like, Nana, you're crazy. I said, I just need to exchange energy. I need to put my hand on the tomb and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. You're not by yourself anymore, because that's just so strange to me. Could it be that she was excommunicated because the Irish Catholics of the area moved to Louisville, Kentucky to join and to work for the Continental Railroad?
Hmm.
But she did. She was here, but she owned the bar, she and her husband. So
To
I
me,
don't know.
to me, there's something about that. Just because alcohol was, um, when I came here, it was a dry county.
Yep.
So was was she an outspoken woman of power? That's what I'm
I'd say
wondering.
she was. I'd say she was. And it was before, it was in the 1800s, and it was a tavern. So she was an outspoken woman.
Tavern was standing.
Yeah. Yes. The building's still there. It's now Landers Potts Bottoms. They named it after the original owners.
And what do they do there?
It's a bar.
Really? In Cape
Yep.
City?
Yeah. Cave City has three bars:
They have the dive.
the Dive, the Rocks Glass, and Landers Potts Bottom.
Is that the Irish pub?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I have to say that the Irish pub that when I went to it, neither had uh fish and chips, nor did they have frog legs. I was very put out. And
They
wait,
have fish and chips every now and then.
it's on their menu, but the day we went, they didn't have anything.
Hmm.
I
You know
just,
what they do though, which is really cool for the community. You can purchase a meal and put the little ticket on the wall, and
mhm.
anyone that's hungry can come and take a meal voucher from the wall and get a free meal.
Wow.
Yep, anybody. Yep.
That is something that's amazing. You
Hmm.
know,
And the Rocks Glass next door has a food pantry that anyone can walk into at any time and get food.
really.
Yes. Yep.
See, I think Cave City has a lot of potential.
I do too.
I really think somebody needs to get the whole Guntown Mountain back up and running.
Oh Lord, the last owner, he destroyed it. Well,
The one who
two
turned
owners
it into the
ago.
one who turned it into Funtime Mountain.
Yes, Will, what's his name? Yeah, the schizophrenic guy. He really was schizophrenic. And they think that he was in a no, he was a schizophrenic. he had bipolar, and he was in a manic state when he bought it. And he did a lot of crazy, crazy things.
And also had a lot of things given away that were essential to the property.
All the historic relics, all the things that were there since I was a child are now gone.
Which is very cruel, I think. You
Extremely.
know,
Extremely.
just because they're stealing history.
And they really didn't steal it. He gave it to them. These people knew better. And most of them are locals, I'm sure.
Now, local people, if you listen to our podcast, you really should do well. Do not what your country can do for you. Do what you can do for your country. You know,
Put it back.
I can think of a few people who, when they want to come out as community heads, but at the end, it's just their own self promotion. You know,
Mm-hmm.
not mentioning any names. Now, we have a friend who has been very active in like collecting coats and stuff like that. And didn't she open a bar?
Alex, she owns the Rocks Glass, and that's where the food pantry is.
See, she is very interesting. I real I wish I was closer friends with her. I know we consider ourselves friends, but I wish, like she would kiki with me the way you kiki with me.
We can go visit her. I love her to death.
I do too. I think there's a lot of good about her, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
You know, I went and blessed the bar, and then I set up a little energy trap that our friend Byron Ballard
Mhm.
she came up with, and I helped out set that up, and then we did some other work, and she said the vibe is really good there now. There were some crazy things going on there. There were some haters. The haters are now leaving her alone.
Were the haters local?
The haters just wanted to dive right into there and cause trouble.
I know.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
And I have another thing to say. Even though they say that Cave City pizza is good and it's New York style, when I got mine, and I'm gonna tell you, I got two pizzas and it sort of averaged out to close to $50.
It better be New York style if it's going to be averaging out 50
It
for
better
two
come.
pizzas, for two pies. Two pies. They probably don't even call it pie. They probably call it pizza.
See, and I got so excited. I did a mukbang about it, and then when I got it, I was like, meh, meh.
In New York, it's known as pie, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
But they're calling it pizza. So they messed up already.
pizza and pie are the same word.
Right.
So when
But
you
they're
say,
not,
yeah,
but it's known as pie in New York. So if you're going to have a New York style pie, I mean, New York style pizza, then one should say, come and get a slice of this pie.
I would
You're going to do New
love,
York, you can do New York.
I would love a like a local New York style deli, and I would really like a New York style pizzeria where you could basically order anything.
I want bagels and I want Taylor ham.
I
Oh my
have
gosh.
I have both of those in my refrigerator right now.
Oh my
Do
gosh.
you
With
want the
just
rest?
a smidge of lox, just a smidge.
Do you want my? Because I can't eat it for at least 4 months. Would you like my Taylor ham?
I might take you up on that.
You should. I would. If I were you, I would.
Do you have coffee milk in New York, or is that just a Mass thing, a Massachusetts thing? Rhode Island, Massachusetts.
It's where you have your coffee really light, right?
Hmm.
Usually
No,
they
it's
do.
actually a jug of stuff called coffee milk.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we're gonna look this one up too. But yeah, I had it before. Someone I think from Rhode Island had some coffee milk, and they introduced us to it, and I haven't had it since.
One of my Puerto Rican friends from New Jersey puts cheese in her coffee.
What? Cheese?
And she logically said, it's a dairy product. So we can eat, both of us can eat this. You take the milk, I'll take the cheese.
Well, here we go. We're gonna learn again. First nipple fruit, and now coffee milk. Coffee milk is a drink made by mixing coffee syrup or coffee extract and milk together in a manner similar to chocolate milk. It is also the official state drink of Rhode Island.
Wow.
Coffee milk. You heard it here. Coffee milk and nipple fruit. That should be the name of this podcast.
And New Jersey and Rhode Island are the only two places that differentiate Mary, Merry, Marry.
Oh,
Because we say marry, marry, marry.
Mary, Mary, and Mary.
Marry, marry, marry.
Have a merry time while marrying Mary.
Have a merry time while Mary is getting married.
Get married while Mary is getting married. Talk about your daggone little, what would we call that? Like she sells seashells down by the seashore.
Sure.
Have a merry time while Mary gets married.
I have a question.
Okay.
How come if a normal person captures a bunch of people, puts them on a bus, and smuggles them somewhere, they call that human trafficking?
That's about to say that's human trafficking.
How come they don't say the same thing when a governor does it?
Well, DeSantis is getting sued by the immigrants that he did it to now. They got a lawyer out of Texas.
Because it first started in Texas. Even though he's the governor of Florida, I cannot believe it.
I can believe it. He's using humans as pawns. The government always does.
What do you
Trying to prove a point.
And to me, I think that you sent him to one of the. Now I know what he was trying to do. He's sending them to one of the ritziest places on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also the liberal people. So they're going to be like, okay, let's get everything started. Let's get things going. There's a yellow dog Democrats or the Kennedy Democrats.
At least they proved themselves to be this time.
Well,
I don't know.
True.
Lots of hoity-toity people up there in Martha's Vineyard.
A lot. When I first started dialysis in 2001, if I wanted to go stay in Montauk, I would have to take a ferry to Martha's Vineyard to do dialysis. I thought that was crazy.
That is crazy. They also sent the immigrants to Kamala Harris's house. Yeah, they had her address. They dropped them off right there.
I don't know. You're playing with lawyers. Anytime you play with the law, the song is right.
I think we should allow them to.
Law won. I fought the law and the law won.
I think we should send them or ask them if they would like to stay at Mar-Largo and just let them take up residence there. Why not?
Well, since all the sensitive material is gone, finally,
Hmm.
and he is trying to say that he declassified it all before he left. You know,
And talking to a coworker who is a former member of the DEA, he was like, he can't. He's the president. Of course he did. Of course he did. And I'm like, oh my God, Trumpsters.
certain things you cannot declassify, like the message that was not just top secret, it was like above top secret, which I never knew that anything was above top secret. I thought that was as high as you could go.
Me too.
But that,
Must be something new.
and you were in the military.
Hmm. And I was on a base where we had nukes, and I was on a base where we flew drones, unmanned drones, and things of that nature, and played around with top secret kind of equipment and stuff. And so I know lots about top secret clearances.
Have you
I
ever
didn't think there's,
have you ever heard about my UFO experience?
yes, she told me.
Like I am convinced that was because it was right near Fort Knox, you know.
Oh yeah, that's what you're saying. But we can't talk about that in front of Allie because Allie is terrified of aliens. Absolutely terrified.
But it just hovered over our car. It was very scary. I put my head out the window to look up. I don't know why. See, I put myself in dangerous things like that. When paranormal things happen, I tended to go after them rather than not go after them. I think
You're
after
seeking knowledge.
it,
You're seeking knowledge.
I'm seeking I'm seeking edification, not necessarily knowledge. Like
Yes.
I think cryptids are a thing. Um,
When we lived in California, in 29 Palms, California, which there is a huge crater from an asteroid there. We also had a cult there in Joshua Tree. Lots of weirdy actor type folks lived around us and stuff. We lived on the base there. 3-year-old Allie, my Alexandra, she had a dream that she was abducted by aliens and they took her in aboard the ship, and then they brought her back and they set her by the tree in our yard. Turns out uh, she drew 3-year-old Allie drew the green man, like the green man with the big head and little skinny long arms and stuff like
okay,
you see everywhere. Yeah, she says she was abducted and now she's terrified of aliens.
and this was when you were in California,
Yes, in 29 Palms in the middle of the high desert.
because Kentucky has little green men too.
Yep, the Green Man Festival. Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the little green men from in Hopkinsville.
Yeah, they have a little Green Man Festival.
Are
Yeah.
you serious?
Yes.
Haven't we gone?
During the Edgar Casey days, during the one eclipse a few years ago where Hopkinsville was the number one place in the world to be, the Green Man Festival was going on during the eclipse.
And I'm just telling you, the Earth changes are still happening. They didn't start when they said they would start, but they're happening now.
Yes.
He said that both Virginia Beach and Hopkinsville, Kentucky would be safe places to live.
Hmm. All I know is the folks there in Hopkinsville said that Edgar Casey was going to be resurrected that day, and that there were a lot of folks there sitting there waiting for that to happen. And I told Ruben, I said, I don't care if I lose my job. I don't care if you lose your job. But if I see Edgar Casey out here walking around, we ain't freaking leaving until I get a selfie. We are not leaving. Nope. I will have an Edgar Casey selfie with that zombie man. But
His energy is very potent. Like
yes, it is.
they had at the Pennyroyal Museum in Hopkinsville, they have a large collection of Edgar Casey's stuff, including the bed that he did Prophecy on. Well, just to say, I went in there and I got a behind the scenes tour because I was in public history. I touched the phone, okay, and I could see just gold electric in my eyes. It was very weird.
Ah. You know what? I went to the little library in the little free library in Cave City,
Mhm.
and I found a book, and it's right there on my shelf now. I found a book called Born Again and Again, and it was like and it was reincarnation as told by one of the people, Edgar Casey. So I took the book. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta have this book. Edgar Casey, that's my prophet. If you had to pick a prophet, he's my prophet. So of course I got the book on my shelf. Now I gotta read it. I'll bring some books back there in exchange, but I don't like getting rid of any of my books.
See, I'm the one who, if this is not meant for me, I'm passing the book on. You know, I have a bunch of bookshelves, I have boxes, I have an ammunition case just full of Book of Shadows that I've done.
Hmm.
Just when you start to become an old witch, you start claiming a lot more stuff, and that is crazy. You
One
know,
day I'm going to dig through your book of shadows. I'm just going to sit there
well,
and just
I'm going to tell you, one
go.
of them has a big footstep on it because I was using it out in the woods, and when I use the Book of Shadows, I'm not like one of these big tome people. My Book of Shadows are basically composition books. I had my first Book of Shadows stolen in 1996 in Murray, Kentucky. You can look up that if you if you want to. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, Murray, Kentucky.
I'm going to tell you, there, Land Between the Lakes has some weird energy.
They got some weird cryptids up in that area.
See, you know, they don't even talk, like, I didn't hear anybody ever talk about the cat people.
I was just thinking the cat people. I was about to say, if he doesn't mention the cat people, I'm going to talk about the cat people.
Well, you know, they say that, and I'm going to tell you, you can hear them running around and throwing things. Believe me, I went out and worshiped there, but they are, they're humanoid, a little smaller, and they have feline features, and they hunt in LBL, which we have seen some. I have seen some crazy things there, like Devil's Bridge, Vampire Hotel.
Mm. Do you know, the first time I learned about the cat people was
Mhm.
because I had a security guard that worked for me. And I kid you not, true story. Why they didn't tell me the night it happened, I don't know. They told me after he quit. But this security guard, he came back to the guard shack after doing a patrol and he said, I just called the police. And my other guard was like, why? He goes, because I seen a man that appeared to be a cat with a cat's head walking down the road.
And see,
And I was like,
it's not like
I
Cats the musical.
I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, he said he saw a cat person walking down the road. And I was like, the hell's he talking about? And that is when I learned about cat people. I was like, he must have been on drugs. Or was it a cat person?
Now I'm gonna tell. weird things happen out there. I was there, and this
That
guy.
was here in Glasgow.
Are you serious?
Yes. Over on the Veterans Outer Loop. Said he
So
saw a cat person.
that's crazy. Usually, I've only heard of him in LBL, but I
That's why
guess
I
they
thought he
get,
was high. I'm like, that man must have been high. Hallucinating something.
you know,
That or one of them ran away.
just because somebody doesn't believe you does not mean it's not true.
Might have ran away. I don't know. We might have little cat people running around here somewhere.
Well, we also have a big cat myth, like folklore down here, and that's the white mountain lion up near Tracy.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
And the Amish see him all the time. Well, not all the time, but it came out of Amish folklore. You know,
Hmm. I
it,
love folklore.
well, you have a degree in folklore, right?
I do. I do. Well, I took every folklore class that I could possibly take, and I have a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies, but I had enough folklore credits to get an associate's in folklore. Why they didn't I did not get my associates because I could have had a double major. I
Mm.
guess my counselor or whoever he kind of like screwed me out of that. I wonder if I could get that just by going back and showing all my credits, if they would actually
Probably good.
give me the associates.
Now you're probably gonna have to pay some money somewhere.
Yeah, but
You
I'd
always
still
have,
have an associates in
yeah,
folklore.
you always have to pay the piper somewhere.
Yep. Well,
Now,
I did. I paid for all those damn classes. But yeah, I think I'll go back and look at that because I have enough credits to have had an associates.
and the folklore masters that WKU runs is very similar to what Murray used to have as public history.
Hmm.
And I love that History 666 was the archives class.
That's awesome. I took every folklore class that they could throw at me at Western. I loved it.
See, I I was an anthropologist and a public historian, and that's you were turning folklore into living folklore.
Mm-hmm. It's as close to it as you can get.
In fact, when I graduated, the Pennyrile was looking for somebody, and my professor said, "If I knew you were looking for that, I would have sent you for that job." But then I would have never met your beautiful face.
I love you too.
I love you. I love you more than luggage.
I love you more than lasagna, and I love lasagna a whole lot.
I do too.
I
I
love you more than Coca Cola, I think.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
I
I
love
got.
me some Coca Cola.
I can't have caffeine. Um, but we found at IGA caffeine free Coke. So
Igga Pop. Igga Pop. That's what we call it. The IGA soda. It
mhm,
just sounds so cool. So we call it IGA is Igga. So it's Igga Pop. Oh, speaking of Igga Pop, the queen of Igga Pop, Taylor, is calling. But
you
she's at work. So
did
I
you not
might
want
have to go get that.
did you not want to answer?
Oh, yeah. Let's see what Taylor has to say. Hello, you're on the podcast with Sonia and Papa O. I'm fine. What's up? Oh, we're all home.
Now I'm gonna tell you.
I love you too. Taylor should be a news broadcast
Mhm.
person. All right. I love you. Apparently, there's a major accident on Highway 90.
That's what I was about to say. She is a bringer of one, she is incredibly lucky. Two, she is the herald of bad luck. You
And
know,
three, she's the finder of all lost things, like dogs and cats. She brings them all to my house.
pigs.
Pigs.
If y'all want to do that again, I would be willing to go in with you. You know,
Okay. I'll let the people in the house know because I would love to do another cow. Maybe I think you can buy these days. You can find someone who goes and butchers cattle,
oh
and
yeah,
you can buy a half of a cow for probably as much or less as it would cost you to actually raise the cow yourself.
hmm
So it might be easier to just go ahead and have one already butchered and go in on it. But now a pig is easy to raise. Yep. And they get big quick.
and and the thing about it, going in on a whole cow, but just go into the community and see who wants to get beef. You know, because beef and chicken have gotten expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I
They
don't,
are. I've still got sausage in the freezer if you would like some sausage.
I can't eat sausage right now,
Okay. Can you
but
eat pork chops?
I
No
love.
pork.
Oh no, I can eat pork. I just can't eat meat that has been preserved.
Okay.
I love pork chops. I make a really good pork cutlet. I should make that for you one day.
Mm-hmm. You'll have to.
Eating is half of healing. But if you were going to do something spiritual for like the economy, would you just do a money spell? You know, where would you go with that?
I I just put my intentions out there. What I need to do. I mean, I just speak as if it's already mine. But are we talking about global economy or
I'm actually just talking about um Miss Mary, who has barely enough to get by. I don't think anybody has been put on this earth to suffer. You know,
there is I'll have to find it, but there's a spell that has to do with writing a check
hmm
and you write it to a certain deity or you write it to a certain saint. I will have to spell, I'll have to find that.
to me that worries me a little because you're signing a contract then with a spirit, but
Uh-huh.
everybody can do it once in a while. Just make sure you win.
Know
make
who you're talking to, know who you're making that contract with.
make sure you can play that fiddle hard.
Oh gosh, we ain't making no contracts with him. Yeah. Although the devil is a Christian concept, and we both know that there are entities far more darker than
Oh yeah,
that.
I was talking with somebody and they brought up the dark. Because if you really think about it, there were things that lived in the dark before God came to them.
Hmm.
And
How
then
about a how about a coin purse or a money jar that you feed?
that's what I like is a money jar that you feed. One of the things that I do is sacrifice. I'll get a $5 bill and put it in all ones, and then sacrifice it to the stranger, the unknown. You know, last time I did it in UK, which made it a lot easier. When it's a lot easier to get rid of money in the big city, you know, but
It's
it to
kind of
me,
like tithing.
to me,
Oh, not, and
I become the stranger at that point. When I'm
mm,
offering to the stranger, I become the stranger because
true.
I'm giving money to people who have no clue who I am, you know, or I'm putting it in their path just because. And you know what? Oftentimes I write things on them like have a soda on me or have yourself a coffee, something like that. I know $1 doesn't go very far, but it's the meaning behind it. Like
Right.
if I could do more, I would
You
do more.
would. I talk to my ancestors,
Mhm.
especially ancestors that have anything to do with money. Like I'm sitting here looking at her picture now. Hi, Trina. But ooh, it's like she's looking back at me. But at the moment anyway. But Trina and I used to go to bingo together when she lived here on Earth. So when I'm at bingo, I'll be like, "Hey, Trina, I'm at bingo. You know we like to win bingo, right?" So I talk to her just like she's still here. I'm like, "Come on, Trina, send me some money, send me some luck." I like to talk to the ancestors, and I like to ask them to send me some, send me down some stuff, some money, some good vibes,
Money is good vibes.
send me some luck. Trina, you're my bingo ancestor. Hook me up, yo.
My grandmother is a businesswoman, and that's probably who I would go to.
Mhm.
Honestly, either grandmother.
Send her something. I mean, leave something on the altar. Like I left Trina a shot of whiskey and a cigarette.
I'm
I won $5.99. I
trying to.
said, "Hey, Trina." Trina was a smoker. So I was at bingo, true story. 3 weeks in a row, I won $599. As I said to Trina while I was at bingo, "Hey, Trina, hook me up. If I win, I'm going to leave you a cigarette and a shot of something." I won $5.99. I came home, I put a cigarette and a shot of whiskey on there. And guess what? I won it 3 weeks in a row. I think I need to leave another cigarette on that altar.
Maybe you should leave an entire pack.
Hey, there you go. We're going to try it.
Especially with Samhain coming up and the dark of the year coming up. You know, the
Yep,
ancestors are going to be a lot more restless.
they are. The
And
veil, it is very thin.
it's been very thin. You
For
know,
many years. Yep.
I have been. It's like, what symbols do you now look for? You know, the veil is very thin, and spirits are contacting us more than ever. And it's like this is usually supposed to happen twice a year, not the whole year round.
Yep. Yep.
But I know that when I get, believe it or not, I get a lot of cigarettes for Samhain, just to put around, you know, where I have friends who smoked who passed away. I have Mamaw who smoked who passed away. You know, Mamaw was somebody who was lucky, but she either put a penny in her bra or a penny under her seat.
That's what you're saying.
It's you got. I like that using your ancestors to find your luck and find goodwill.
They're our advocates. They speak to the gods on our behalf.
And obviously Trina's pretty close with one of them.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
So
Trina never saw an enemy.
no.
She would when the first time I met her for the sleepover, we had a sleepover.
We did. We had a slumber party.
She was great. We had a really fun time. There was no time but wine time.
Exactly. Exactly. Right now it's sleep time.
uh, let me
Mm,
sing you a
I
song.
think we both missed out on our sleep.
So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now until we meet again. Be kind to one another, love one another, reach out to one another, and like Grandpa Sackwas always used to say,
Don't be an asshole. Good night.
don't be an asshole.